Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and this is a reading for the December reading for the air signs I'm doing first today. So this would be for your air signs in your sun, moon, rising for the month of December. And the decks I'll be using today can't speak. Someone can't speak. I don't know. Maybe they're getting their words mumbled or jumbled because they just literally can't get everything out at once. Some people may have had a stutter when they were younger. But what I'm getting here is for the air signs, the Gemini, Libra, Aquarian, star sign. Definitely Aquarian energy, because we've got the first card off the deck is Justice, and the one crossing it is the life experience, which talks about the tower. There's a lot of tower moments in people's lives. Something unexpected is going to rush in, or you'll be granted some sort of favour from the universe for all the karma that you've accrued. So maybe you've had some really bad karma for the past, I'm getting 7 years. Could even possibly be 8 years of really bad karma from things that you may have done or said or wished you hadn't have said, and it's all has been coming back for you for the last 8 years, 7 to 8 years. And these were quite shocking. You've had to kind of make a discernment, a judgment based on facts as well as based on memory, and memory is sketchy. Sometimes you can remember an incident from your past that may have happened in a way that you viewed it as a child, which might be different now viewing it as an adult. So you're having to try to retrace or remember images from your childhood to stand up for yourself, to justify it and go, I need justice for this situation because I feel I've been wronged as a child. So then you've got here the injustices of life is the justice. You want some sort of justice. You may be severing ties with a group of people, or a group or a family situation, or severing ties with people that are like family, or maybe you're deciding to move. Moving is also part of the Tower card. So if you're looking for a new house to live, you'll find it, and it'll come quickly or quicker than what you'd anticipated. This is meant to be. It's time for you to move to new horizons. Let go of belief systems that no longer work for you. It's a life-changing event, a situation that has led to significant opportunities. So sometimes when the tower crumbles, we have to rebuild, pull apart and rebuild. And in speaking about that, I've had to move several times last year, the year before, and the year before that. I moved interstate, then I moved to my mum's, then I moved to a friend, and then I moved to my own place, and then I had to move back. I've had about 4 moves in 1 year, and they reckon one move alone is justifiable, worthy of a meltdown, worthy of a mental breakdown. They say death, divorce, moving are the 3 biggest triggers or stresses in life. I had all 3 of those. So you can divorce your family, or you can feel divorced and feel like an orphan, which is, again, tower moment. Shocking but necessary. So I'm pulling a storage bin apart at the moment, and it's been on my mind, and I just keep not wanting to go there because it's so much I have to look at, and there's so much I have to unpack. There's all these clothes that I have to sort through. I can't even get to half of them because I've got to step over all this furniture that's crammed in this tiny little lock up. And I just want to get rid of it. So I'm going to, as soon as I get the clothes out, bit by bit, donate them to a lifeline. Then I can finally get to the back of the shed and either sell it off or donate it just in a truck. Because at this stage, I'm just done with it. It's old memories, old things, and I don't want to attract that bad negative energy back to my life. Things attract energy. Energy lives in objects and tables and furniture, and all that energy can be trapped in a house. So you sometimes have to smudge stick, like what I'm doing. I still feel the energy in here from people that have left, and I still see stuff for them even though they're gone, because their ghost is haunting the house. It's their ghost, the ghost of them. If they up and left in a hurry because they had issues with you or you had issues with them, don't think that it ends there, because all that energy is stored in the house. So that's why I feel I have to move. 6 of Summer. This is to do with 6 of Cups. Childhood or memories of your past. Maybe you return to a place, a town, a country where you had to face or remember things from your past, and maybe those things weren't necessarily good memories. They may have been triggers and triggered you to remember things that were very painful for you as a child. Sometimes you have to physically move house, move state, or move country in order to have some type of happiness or some way emotionally heal from those wounds. So we sometimes have to leave a place of where we grew up in order to heal. And only then, once we've healed, are we able to face those triggers from the places we used to live in. Can we then face them? That's the only way we can do that. Prince of Winter. So this is to do with the air sign, sun, moon or rising. Aquarius, Libra and Gemini star sign. This is talking about someone who's very intellectual, very determined, very focused, very impulsive. They seek out fun. They toy with people's emotions because their mind is so busy and so active. They like to take risky behaviour. They indulge in risky behaviour in order to feel something because they get a high from it. They get a high from feeling alive by escaping the jaws of death. Like this guy's skiing on the sled and he's not watching where he's going. He can't see the forest from the trees and he's not looking. He's going to have an accident. He's going to fall. And the recklessness of that's how he feels alive, but it's only short-lived. So you've got to question your choices and what you're doing for this instant gratification, which is the world we live in right now. Everything's instant gratification. There's instant message. There is Facebook, there's YouTube, there's Twitter. There's so much need for validation in the world that it's becoming very toxic very quickly. And people are not speaking to each other. They are communicating online, and it never ever comes across the same way. If you're texting or messaging or DMing, or if you're duo call, Zoom, it's still not the same because you're going to miss out on little cues or nuances in the face or the body posture or the body language. You might not pick up on the energy as well because it's not right in front of them. So what someone's actually trying to show you or tell you could actually be opposite to what they're feeling and really trying to express. So miscommunication, I'm getting miscommunication amongst family members, miscommunication amongst grandparents even. There's just like a breakdown of communication. So when that happens, the best thing to do is walk away, block them, or don't contact them unless it's for an emergency, or text. If you get back to texting, if you can't talk without having an argument, then texting is the best form. If you can't text, then you're in real problems. Write a letter. There you go. Send a message that way. 6 of Autumn is to do with big news, an unexpected inflow of money, borrowing wisely or repaying a debt. So this is to do with like volunteering your time, your efforts, your information, or your knowledge of things that you may have done in the past. You may know how to, you've done nursing, you know how to wash your hands properly. So you're demonstrating on how to wash your hands to someone who may be wanting to enter the industry. So it's little things like managerial skills you may have that you can pass on to someone else because you found it worked for you when you were managing a small team of people in your past if you were a manager. So those skills are life skills and they can't be taught like from a place of naivety. There has to come from a place of knowledge or prior knowledge or past experiences, past life experiences. I'm getting for some people. You may have had a role in your past life that's coming through for you that you're really good at in this lifetime because it's a past life memory and you're channeling that past life person's abilities. Like Mozart could play from ear. He was trained by playing by ear. That's what they call a savant, a very highly evolved level of autism where they have this natural innate ability to express themselves through music or art or writing or speaking or public speaking because it's a gift that's come from a past life. That's what I'm getting very strongly. I've had a vision in the last couple of days and I don't know why, but I got given a message of a bus that I almost missed. It was a number 11. And the girl who was driving didn't see me. I tried to flag her down. She almost missed the bus. And I had the vision 6 hours before that vision of missing the bus almost, but I just got on it. And I dragged my 2 boys onto the bus with me. And my ex and I were fighting because we don't get along over them. And my son had a bloody arm. And I'm thinking, what's that about? And it was blood tie. Missed the bus, miscommunication. If I had not got on that bus, our journey would have been severed our ties would have been severed as a family, and it would have been separate, and it is separate. One was in the north side of Australia, and I live on the south side, so there is a segmentation, and a lot of people are separated by COVID and are finally reuniting. So there's all that reuniting of families, and distance has brought everyone to a grounding halt with all these lockdowns, and so that can sometimes, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and maybe you remember things differently about a situation, place or thing that took place. But what I saw was the blood, and I thought, what's that about? And then that was 2 days ago, and then I walked home from the shops yesterday after late at night, and I patted this cat, and this cat always talks to me, it loves to be patted. And next minute, she turned around and bit me, because I think I must have touched her in the head, a sore part of the head, and she scratched me like that, exactly how I saw in my dream. But I thought it was on my son, it was on me. So it was like I got the impression of that 2 days prior. But the one with the bus was 6 hours. I was 6 hours out between when I saw the vision of the bus and then the accident that happened up the road, which was that was part of the vision as well. There was an accident, and that was what I was seeing. I was foreseeing an accident. Front on, the people looked to be okay. They escaped, thank God. But it's just interesting. Had I have missed the bus, I wouldn't have seen the accident. What was I meant to do to stop the accident? I have no idea. I couldn't have stopped the accident. I was on the bus. But, it's just hindsight's 2020. There must have been a reason why I was supposed to see that or witness that, in order maybe to be a witness that I saw that cars that were, I didn't have licenses or number plates, were on a bus, but been witnesses to things like that before. Then I've got the High Priestess. Now this is to do with you and your intuition. So this is like someone who's very high up in the church. You're either a spiritual leader, a church leader, a deacon of a church, a priest, someone that you'll become. Maybe in the future you might decide to study Bible studies. You may decide to research the history of the Bible and, the history of religion. Maybe you're learning from someone who is a church leader or an elder, and they're just imparting some advice or imparting their knowledge of the Bible and what it means and the inaccuracies of the Bible as opposed to what the realities are. So careful digging, careful reflection before taking action. Insights that will come through meditation, whether it's through Tai Chi, yoga, walking, reading, writing, sleeping, in my case, sleeping. It's the visions. When you're at peace, will the visions or the visitations come through on the astral plane from the astral level. So I usually get them when I'm walking, and I get them when I'm sleeping and I'm astral traveling. I do both. That's what my ability is. So if anyone wants a reading, I do readings. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I'll probably just film it and then email it to the person. It's Moonlight Madness. It's on YouTube. I have a Facebook profile. I do psychometry, I do readings, and I get floor plans. No idea why. I get floor plans of a place I'm going to move to or a place my son was going to move to. I knew exactly where his room was when he moved. I knew exactly what the stairwell looked like. And I knew exactly what the dining room looked like. I drew it 6 months before it was even built. And again, that's a past life ability. Because as I was speaking about you bringing through a past life experience, my ancestors were architects, so I'm bringing through an architectural floor plan layout. I get floor plans. My dad's a real estate agent, or was. He's now doing architecture. He's gone back to his ancestral roots, and he's really good at it, apparently, as well. So he had to go back to uni and do that at a very late stage in life, retrain. And that's massive when you're not used to all the new things like computers and things, which is what I'm going to have to do. Retraining computers in order to do what I want to do next, which I'm still not sure of a direct path, but we will find our way eventually. But yeah, architecture is part of our family bloodline, our family history. So there's that. So the High Priestess is telling, listen to your hunches. You're on point right now. You're really on point. So if you're female, usually females, that time of, their hormonal state will affect their ability to intuit or to conduit certain things. It's all about I guess the water, the moons, the pull of the moon will affect the hormones in the females as well. We're 98% or 78% water, so the moon affects a lot of us in different aspects in different ways. I'm also getting two, so in 2 years' time you may be on a different path for the air signs in a different type of occupation. You'll be studying something completely different or something completely relatable to what you've already done in the past. Everything you learn for a reason. Nothing is wasted by learning. You're learning something that you could use in another job. It's a transferable skill. 9 of Cups, this is to do with a wish. You wrote down a wish, or maybe you were making wishes across a fountain like I've been doing. And I took a photo of the person that drew that fountain. It was a female, an artist, and she designed it, and they did a portrait. I think her husband drew the portrait of her, the Captain Cook Bridge in Civic Park. I make all my wishes there. I have done for quite some time, and I did a wish, and it finally came true. And so I got a job just out of the blue. I've just managed to secure a position. I haven't started yet, but I'm looking at getting uniforms organised and information days and things like that. But something completely off kilter, something that wasn't expected, but I did ask for it. I did wish for it. And you've got here, this is your card. Again, this is to do with winter. Icy storms, an icy country. Maybe you live in the northern part of an area, or you live towards like places like New Zealand or Canada or somewhere where it's icy right now, where it's snowing. You're getting downloads right now. You need to understand that the crystal thought, which she's got here, and this is a meditation I found online, the Soulful Revolution, talks about using a crystal and breathing in all the good energy and breathing out all the negativity, which is with a black onyx, which is what I do. It's from Rainbow Runner. And you sit that in the meditation, and you do your slow breaths in, and then you release the slow breath out with the black obsidian or black obsidian or tourmaline you can use to breathe out negativity. It's just got purple around us, so maybe wear some purple because that's swirling around and that's opening up the chakra. The crown chakra is the purple chakra. So purple is a good colour to wear in this, and if you're trying to heal mental thoughts or bad mental health, then purple is your colour. Or white is another good colour for healing, and green is good for the heart chakra, but purple's the crown chakra. So it says here you're going to get messages, maybe downloads, maybe astral messages, meditated messages, and you need to write them down because they're important. You may have numbers flashing at you. I keep getting 2, 1, 21, something to do with a 2 and a 1, key to the door. Maybe you're opening a new door, or you've opened a door in your brain to another realm through astral projection, and that's a real thing. It's been written about by university professors. I've read the books at university. It is a thing that some people can do. Some people can intuit clairvoyantly, clear seeing, clairaudience, which is hearing, claircognition, I think it's claircognition, which is thoughts, pick up on someone's thoughts. Touch, taste, smell, the 5 senses, and the 6th sense is basically the intuition or the ESP. Most people with ESP I find are ADHD. They have a side of autism to them, but they function on a different plane than most people. They see auras, they see colours, they see things before they happen, they smell things, and that's usually an energy around them or a past loved one who's trying to give them a message by scent or thoughts or road signs, or you'll see a number that'll flash a couple of times. That number means something. Maybe Google 2 and 1, which is a 3, which is creation. And then you've got here, and 2 aces works really well. You've got the Ace of Winter, which is telepathy, thought, ESP. And then you've got the Ace of Cups, which is heart chakra. So you're opening up the heart and the mind at the same time, which is very good. Because if you do everything with a mindset, it might give you the wrong answer. But you do something with your heart and your mind, then you're doing it with your love and as well as knowledge. You're basing your decisions on compassion and knowledge. And this is also to do with epiphanies that are coming from your visions and you're emotionally intuition. You're guided, your body's been guided to do certain things or let go of unhealthy habits. It also talks about the lotus flower sitting on there, which is, it sits on there, something beautiful like that, floats on the water, and I think that's how our intuition works. It's like a sonar. It's like a whale sends a sonar signal to the shore to figure out how far it is away from land. ESP is like that. It's a ripple effect. The butterfly effect with Ashton Kutcher explains it perfectly. And so the dove is peace. You just want peace and joy. You don't want fights or arguments. I think people just don't want any more of that because of what's going on with the world. And it's also talking about people are coming into their intuition or gifts that have been handed down, generational ESP, generational knowledge or of the unknown or the unseen. The veils are lifting. We've just gone through a full moon, so everyone's intuition should be super heightened right now. Good time not to cut your hair, because on a full moon, that encourages it to grow back quicker. So if you want to cut your hair, cut it on a waning moon, not a waxing moon, a waning moon, where the moon's actually starting to disappear, a crescent moon. 9 of spring, this is to do with environmental concerns. You may have friends around you that are environmentalists, or maybe you're consulting with environmentalists. If you're a world leader or a church leader, you're trying to find ways to heal the earth and Mother Nature. You may care deeply about the animals that are starting to become extinct. I think there's a certain type of koala that's no longer being reproducing in Australia because of the bushfires. So we're trying to find ways to regenerate our coral reef, which has been slowly disintegrating because of pollution and global warming. So it's talking about looking at the things we can do to fix the things we've already done ourselves as carbon prints that we've left on the earth. Prepare for possible changes that lie ahead. You need to be maybe conserving water. Maybe everyone's watching the water. I know I've been washing with a bucket lately because it saves water, and I think about summer and we need the water for, our animals, and the water is also there for our drinking water, so it's precious. We need to be mindful of how precious things are in life. Life is precious. My grandfather almost died a couple of weeks ago. I was so upset. I just couldn't eat, sleep. I was a mess. And so was everyone else in the family. And you realise what's important. Those things are important. Them is important. Not things, not places, not possessions. I'm getting rid of all my possessions because I don't feel the need for them anymore. They don't define who I am. And that's my past. I'm no longer that person. I'm a different person. We change every 4 weeks. Our cells turn over every 4 to 16 weeks when we're babies. Every 16 to 38 days when we're adults, which is why baby skin is always so beautiful. We're constantly changing. We're shedding cells of skin. We're losing hair. We lose teeth. We're constantly changing and evolving and shedding and changing. And babies grow into toddlers, and toddlers grow into children. And that baby's not the same when it's a toddler. And the toddler that becomes the adult is no longer your little boy. That's a hard realization for people to make. They're no longer your children. They're here for a short time. You have them for such a short amount of time. You need to cherish it, every moment of it. People regret. I think I was reading Alison Dubois, and she said the biggest regrets men have when they come through. This is by Colette-Baron-Reid. It's called The Enchanted Map. And she said the things that most people regret is not spending enough time with their children because they were too busy working, because that was the mentality back in the 40s and 50s, workaholics that never actually home because they're too busy trying to put food in the children's mouths. So that's what our grandparents' era is, and when they pass from this world, that's the things that they'll miss the most is time. They've lost that time. They can't get it back. All you can do is maybe spoil the grandchildren or spend time with them. That's how you get some of it back, that time that you've lost. But no one's ever gone. They're around, they're in your aura. You just can't see them. Well, some people can't, I can. Alright, we've got 2 cards that pulled out. Wishing well. Oh, good time, very lucky. This is Sagittarian season, so this is the best time to go and take a lotto ticket if you wanted to. And then you've got Follow the Leader. And then we'll pull another card from Colette-Baron-Reid. It's called Wisdom of the Oracle. I like these cards because they've got really nice drawings on them. And that's an inherited trait. My grandfather is a brilliant drawer. He's an artist, self-taught. He's also a brilliant musician, self-taught. He can play any instrument. He used to make guitars. He's just an amazing grandfather. He could build anything, make anything. He's a handyman. I always admired that about him. And my uncle's exactly the same. He's a handyman too. He's very good at fixing things. So this is the card for Colette-Baron-Reid. Sorry, that was my phone going off. It's probably my son saying he's on the bus. He's forgotten it's Sunday timetable. They don't always run on time. Okay. Oh, there it fell out. The tribe, where you sit in the tribe. And that's all we want, isn't it? Inclusion. We just want to feel included. I think one of the funniest sayings I've heard is FOMO, fear of missing out. That's it. So when I go to see one of the children, then I don't see the other one, then he's upset because he fears he's missing out on a conversation or something that he wanted to do with me that day. So I try to see them separately now, because that way they each get equal time with me, one-on-one time. I think as boys, and they're both the same sex, they're extremely competitive with one another. So the best way I find is to see them individually. That way I feel like I've heard them, they've been heard, and they have been included. The inclusion is there. Oh, 3 cards for that. I can't take all those. Oh, I've got one that's standing out. I'll take that one. Mending. Yeah, we're trying to mend fences. I think everyone is. Lockdown was difficult on everyone. I'm just checking my phone. Sorry about that. Interrupted my reading and my flow. Okay, so 48 is to do with the wishing well. So we've got 2 wishing wells. That's a really good sign. An 8 and a 4 is endings, but an 8 and a 4 is also to do with death and karmic lessons being learned. Maybe the karmic lessons that you were meant to learn. Like I said, I've had a bad run for 7 or 8 years. Maybe that's the karma that you had accrued, and now you've learned all those lessons. So now you're free to go on and do a new life, and you embrace a new journey. You're not diving in the same pond twice. You can't do that. Desire is the sacred impulse for life. Feel it, but let go of all attachment to ownership. Desire is the most important impulse for creating life. Now you're seeing the relationship between desire and inspiration, and sensing that moment of truth when you feel the inception of new life. It is an aha moment. This is to do with judgment card as well. When everything makes sense. Perhaps you recognize a soulmate or are conceiving an idea, or for summer baby. And the wishing well cards awakens you to the presence of unseen forces that enable you new beginnings. That's cool. So, I'm sorry, I'll have to check my phone again. Sorry for the interruption. I just need to make sure he knows that I got the message. Divine intelligence. The wishing well awakens you to the presence of unseen forces that enable new beginnings. Divine intelligence activates the field of possibilities where new life is co-created in a magical way. Neither you nor anyone else can know how or why this happens, it just does. To that end, you can't control the process of growth. Rather, you must step aside to be a channel for higher forces and relinquish any attachment on how this new creation should appear or when. Form your intention and take action by dropping the coin into the wishing well, then trust in spirit. and prepare to be amazed. Wishing well. Maybe you need to go to one of those lifeline places where they drop coins in or donations. That's a wishing well too. Follow the leader. Anything with water is a good place to make a wish. You're being called to lead others by example. Your wisdom has been earned as a result of your bravery in the adventure of your life. The experiences of battles won and lost, places discovered, tears shed and joy revealed have placed you in a unique position to be of service to others. Your suffering has been crystallized into a talisman of wisdom, and now you must share it by being fully authentic. You'll lead others into the light. You'll be required to divulge some things about your past, so you may help someone else. Lead with love. There is another message here as well. Look to those whose character and accomplishments you admire. Emulate the leaders you respect, and you will then in turn have more to offer. Yeah. So past people that have, I guess, paved the way can help you figure out how to next proceed forward from there. Then you have mending, which is a really nice card. I like this card. She's sewing a bunting, which is to do with real estate. So that's interesting. Some of you may be selling a house or looking at selling a house or trying to attract attention to move a sale of a house. 52. There's a lot of people moving at the moment. My storage unit, the guy said that they're 95% at capacity, which tells me that that's huge. Forgiveness, making amends, healing after arguments. Each time we are hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate an unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal. The pain, the memories, the echoes of resentments, and the arguments that we rehearse over and over. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, to release, to make peace, and to make amends to others. Set yourself free. You've come to a place where forgiveness is necessary. And if you're to move forward, separate or together, you and the other person are still experiencing the effects of the hurt that is impacting everything you do. Even if you're not aware of it, the energy needs to clear. What you must do to bridge this gap. Closing your heart is not the answer. You have the power to heal this wound. Ask yourself, what would love do? Only good will come of forgiveness and an honest redress. Everyone makes mistakes, especially when you want something very badly. You may come to realise that in chasing after a pretty shiny thing, you lost sight of a long-term, sustainable prosperity. We make choices that look good at first, but ultimately lead to loss or failure. It's time to forgive yourself and others. Don't blame anyone else. You get to start again, wiser and more mature. The journey to true abundance can be bumpy. Make amends to anyone who may have hurt along the way. Especially yourself. Forgive those who may have taken advantage of you. Let go and learn from this. You are now that much closer to achieving the kind of prosperity that really fulfills you. Nothing is ever lost or wasted when you view it from the perspective. Our grief strips our masks and loosens our tight hold on our separateness. When we view ourselves as I and the world as it. Loss allows us to see ourselves as part of a larger scheme, opening us up to sympathy, empathy, and dependence on others in the moment when we can't hold ourselves together. It leads us to become with the greater whole again. Pain and suffering is part of life, and none of us are immune to it. Can you view this loss, this pain, as a way back to source? Let your sorrow break your heart wide open. You'll never be left behind. Yeah. It says here 8, tribe. The tribe is what we try to find that we fit into. And everyone needs a purpose, or everyone needs to feel like they're valued. Community, belonging, being seen and understood by others, like-minded connections, a sense of family and friendship, and knowing your place in the world. This card signals a new affiliation with a group. Humans are social creatures, and we know to be useful to our tribes. Families and communities. In a tribe, everyone has an important function and feels. I matter. Membership is in the group provides a sense of belonging or kinship and a purpose that comes from working together for the great fulfillment of all. Perhaps you are part of a spiritual community or an artistic one. Perhaps you are learning in a learning community where you share your love of education. Regardless of its form or focus, your community brings you joy. You'll be inspired by it and want to contribute to it. Your contribution may be as small as showing up at a large as becoming its leader. No matter what your position, your presence is needed. You're discovering the essential qualities that you share with another, and perhaps you also those you don't share. There are times when you follow and the other person leads, and times when you lead and the other person follows. The appearance of this card points to the importance of learning the proper dance between you and another. Accepting that truth and everyone has flaws is part of that dance. Yet you are being asked to be aware of the dynamics and you don't want to repeat. You're in the perfect place to make changes in order to experience the best version of who you can be together. Figure out a need to and look to fill it. What can I get, or what can I contribute to this community of like-minded people? Something meaningful will manifest, even if what manifests is small. It is a sign that doors of opportunity will swing open wider. There is also another meaning of this card to consider. Don't try to be all things to all people. Choose your role and be true to it and serve from a sense of authenticity. There is no greater feeling of accomplishment than knowing you have a purpose. So try to lead by example, try to guide where you can. Don't offer unsolicited advice, just as my friend once said to me when she had boys she was raising. If I was you, I'd do it this way instead of dictating. That's the best approach I find. With stubborn children, one of mine is very stubborn. He's exactly like me, which is why we don't always see eye to eye. And that's all I have for you for air signs for December 2021 for air signs, sun, moon, rising.